Hey guys, how's it going? I'm Stephanie, and today I'm gonna do a really highly requested video on how I edit a photo in Lightroom. So basically I'm gonna take one of my favorite portraits that I've ever taken. I'm gonna walk you guys through how I would edit that photo from start to finish, and I can't wait to show this to you guys. Okay guys, so this is a portrait that I'm gonna walk you through and show you how I would edit it. It came out a little darker straight out of camera than I would have wanted it, but sometimes when you're shooting really fast at weddings, it's just gonna happen. So I do have a preset where I apply all of these things automatically to all my photos, but I'm gonna go ahead and show you all the things that I would do to every single photo, and then after that show you the tweaks that I would make for this photo. This is one of my favorite portraits I've probably taken. It's of Shay and Daniel from their wedding. It is so beautiful. It was amazing. Alright, so all the things that I'm going to pretty much do to every single photo that I import and start editing is I come in here, I bring my exposure up at least to about 1.0 here. I bring my contrast up to around 20 or so. And I bring my highlights way down right here. Usually like I start around -90. I bring my shadows way up, usually around +90. And then I bring my whites down a little bit, usually 20 to 25, and then I usually don't touch my blacks. So right here, the photo does look a little bit strange, but right now we're really bringing those highlights way down, those shadows way up, and then as we keep going, we're going to make it pop a little more. So when I go down here, I usually bring my vibrance down just a little bit, just because I like a little more muted tones in my photos. And then right here on the tone curve is really where we're going to bring the brightness up and make it pop just a little more. So I usually like to bring my highlights down even more. I'll bring my lights up a little bit. So this is really going to make the photo pop. So if you just play with these sliders, you can really see what it's doing either way. So when I bring this up a little bit, it's going to make my photo brighter, make it pop a little bit more. I bring my darks up a little bit and then my shadows back down a little bit. I usually don't make it too dramatic right here. And then when we're going down into the colors right here, I usually go to my greens and I don't play with the hue at all. I do take the saturation down a little bit, but definitely not too much. Like my style, this definitely can help define your style more. Like if you want it to be really desaturated like that, then go for it. But I usually just don't want it to be super, super green, but I also want it to still look really natural. And then I actually bring my luminance up quite a bit for green. So I usually bring it around 50 to 60, somewhere around there. And then I usually go to my yellows. I bring those up quite a bit too. Usually sort of like around 40. I go to my oranges, and this is really going to play with the skin tones a little bit and could really add something else to your photo. So what I usually do is I bring this up a little bit here on the hue, I bring the saturation down ever so slightly, and then I bring the luminance up to around 10. So it's just a really slight tweak, but it does make a really good difference. Okay, so when I look at this right now, I see their skin tones and look a little dead to me. So a good way to fix that, instead of just making the overall image a lot warmer, is to use split toning. So it's only going to affect your highlights and your shadows. It's not going to affect the whole image in like the midtones. So we're going to go ahead. I usually like to start off with my hue around 35, a saturation around 5, and I do the same for the shadows. So already right there, that made a huge difference just in their skin tones and how beautiful they look. I'm going to go, so let's see. Let's go down. I'm going to make tweaks later, but I'm just showing you right now what I do to every photo. So then I take my sharpening. I go up to 50. I'm going to go down a little more. And then under lens corrections, I use profile right here. And I enable remove chromatic aberration. So if there is chromatic aberration, it's already going to remove some of that. I click enable profile correction. So if you don't do this, look how much of a difference that made. I mean, that was huge. So basically what it's doing is it's taking, and this one, because I was using my 50mm, there's not as much of a distortion around the edges, and it was super dark. So just doing that really brightened up the whole image, and it just makes it look so much cleaner. So if you feel like this is too bright for you though, you can always turn this down or up. So I'm kind of thinking it might be a little bit bright around the edges, so I might bring this down just a little bit. But that really made the photo pop so much more. So that's pretty much all I do. Sometimes, so if I go down here to dehaze under effects, I'll bring this up a little bit, around 10, just to make it pop just a little bit and bring a little more of clarity to the photo. But, so that's what I would do to every photo that I import, and I have a preset that I just apply all those settings automatically. Now, so say this is where I'm at with my preset, what I would do is go up here, and to me, I want to brighten this photo just a little bit, but I also don't want to lose detail, so I'm just going to go ahead and bring the highlights all the way down. And then it was a tiny, tiny bit green, just because we were shooting by the trees and there wasn't a huge opening behind me. So I'm going to take the split toning, and if I bring it closer down to 30, it's going to make it more pink. If I go up to 40, it's going to make it more green. I want to bring a little more pink into it, so I'm going to bring this down to 30 on both of these and see how that's looking. And I think I'll bring this down just a little more in the highlights, just so it's not so green. And then I might bump this up a little bit for my exposure. I was just hitting my exposure tabs on my keyboard. And then I think that's pretty good. Honestly, the crop looked really great out of camera, so I'm probably not going to mess with it. I'm usually super picky about it being nice and straight. This is looking pretty good, so this is pretty much how I would leave it. So let's go ahead. I'm going to show you before and after. So hopefully that gives you some ideas on how to edit and how to do it really well for a light and airy style. Alright guys, so I hope that was super helpful in helping you figuring out how to edit your photos in Lightroom. If you haven't yet, be sure to hit subscribe because I upload new videos every single Tuesday. I don't want you to miss out on any of them. I can't wait to share more next week. Bye guys!